We're going to have a look at how to do the chi-squared two-way table test for the IA and to work it out by hand. So in the lesson you had a go at one similar to this, looking at smokers and non-smokers, and then we had a go at some others looking at, I think it was chocolate flavours with the chocolate fillings. So have a look at your notes on that as well. If we were looking at this, the first thing you need to do is make sure that your data is organised in like a two-way table form. So you'll need to add up how many pieces of data you've got for each kind of category and where it satisfies, and then you're going to form this table yourself. So these are like the observed values. This is what we've seen from our data set. So we've got group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, and then HL or SL. So I've just done an example here with subjects and levels in the IB. And the first thing we're going to need to work out is the totals for each section. So I'm going to put equals sum, and that will work out the total of that column. And then we're going to do the same for this one. Of course, if your table's small like mine, then you can just work this out by hand as well. And then again, equals sum, and we have these values here. And then we need to work out the sum of the rows as well. So it's these sections and equals the sum of this section here. So now we've got all of our totals. So I'm just going to change the colour of those just so that I don't get confused. And I could work out the kind of total or the overall size using either option to work out that final one. So I've got 102 in my total kind of sample here. So that's my observed data, but I now need to work out what's my expected values. So if everything was fair and normal, what would I expect to happen? So we're going to copy the table of values, and we're going to get rid of all of the numbers. Now we know that the totals should be the same, so this is quite a nice way to check it. And let's just move that across to make it slightly easier to see. We know that to find the expected value, we do the row, so equals the row total times by the column total, and we're going to divide those two numbers, which is why I'm putting my brackets in, by the last sort of total, if you like. And then we're going to do the same again for this one. So this one's group 1 SL. So group 1 SL, we want the row total times by the column total, and we're going to divide that by the total. Okay, and we can double check 35 and 35, so that works. And we can keep doing this for each one. So I'm now just going to populate this. Okay, so we've now populated the full table, and we can check that our totals are still the same, which they are. And we're now going to be using the formula for the chi-squared two-way table. So we need to work out the observed value minus the expected value squared, and then divide that by the expected value for each of the sections in my table. So I'm now going to have to set up a table. So for example, I might have group 1 HL, and then group 1 SL, group 2 HL, group 2 SL, and so on and so on and so on. I'm not going to finish this off. And then we're going to have the observed data, the expected data, and then we're going to do the observed minus the expected, and then we're going to square that value. And then we're going to have the observed minus the expected squared, and we're going to divide that by the expected value at the end. So in the observed value for group 1 HL, it was 23, so I can just copy and paste that in there. And then for the SL, and then for group 2, I can place those in there as well. And then for the expected, again, I can just place these straight in there. Now, if you find that this happens, you need to right click and paste special and paste values only, because it's trying to work off a formula, but it's no longer relevant. So again, just right click, paste special, paste values only. And then we can work out the observed minus the expected, so equals the observed minus the expected equals the observed minus the expected, and so on. And again, similar to what we've done before, you can drag those along. And then we've got the value that we've just written down squared, so equals this value times by itself. And again, we're just going to drag that down. Always a good idea just to double check that it's worked. And then this time we're taking this value that we've just worked out and we're going to divide it by the expected value. So equals this value divided by the expected value. And again, we're just going to drag that down. And if I'd completed the rest of my table, this end column here, this is the value for the chi-squared result. So we find the total of that column, and that's what gives me chi-squared. It's the total of this column here that we've just worked out. So you can use this to then work out what the chi-squared value is by hand, so to speak, but you can use the computer to help you and to show that working out.